Chicago, the Windy City, the second city, a great city for dining, shopping, and sports. The Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks and White Sox, and of course, Harry Carey and the Cubs. What a great sports town Chicago is. And of course, tonight we've got the race cars at the Chicagoland Speedway, one of the newest tracks on the circuit. Opened in 2001, this fast mile and a half has quickly established itself as a fun place for the fans and a tough, competitive place for the racers. Field of 43 getting set to go 300 miles for trophy tonight, including 2 Illinois natives. We mentioned Danica Patrick earlier. How about Justin Allgaier? He is from Riverton, Illinois, about a 2.5-hour drive from the track. His sponsor is also an Illinois-based company. A win tonight would be pretty huge for Justin. Who you got your eye on, Rusty?
Well, I got my eye on Brian Scott. I mean, I'm taking a look at him. I mean, this is a fellow that's really fast. He struggled of late, but you heard in the interview a little while ago, he's trying to right that ship, get better. And one thing you got to remember, his career best finish so far was the 3rd place right here last year.
Yeah, Brian's had some bad luck. He's had some really good runs. But for me tonight, guys, it's going to be Kelly Byers. He's in the 18 car tonight. We all know it's a great race car. Kelly's trying to get himself back into the series full time. He's from neighboring Wisconsin. This is a great opportunity for a good little race car driver to show what he can do.
After a huge storm this afternoon that washed out qualifying, the track is dry. We are about set to start tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. First, we go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as Inspector Instructor Staff 2nd Battalion 24th Marines present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Glenn Spoolstra from Raceway Ministries offers tonight's invocation.
Shall we pray? Dear Lord, we just thank you for who you are. We thank you for this beautiful evening that you've given us. And Lord, most of all, we thank you for protecting us from the storm earlier. And Lord, you have a plan for us, and we thank you for that. Lord, we look forward to this race tonight. We ask for safety for the drivers, for the fire crews, everyone involved, Lord, and each of us when we go home tonight. Just give us a safe trip. Lord, we just pray for the troops. We thank you for the guys and men and women around the world that protect us. Lord, we thank you for the men that are in the middle of the field right now with the flag who are inducted into the Air Force. We thank you for them as well and protect them. It's in your name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
In honor of our troops, would you please place your right hand over your heart as Jive Records recording artist Crystal Bowersox performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free? Oh, and the home of the
All right, so as the drivers begin to buckle in, throw this little statistical oddity at you. No one has ever won a Nationwide Series race at this track from the front row. Something Eric Almirola and Elliott Sadler hope to change tonight. They will lead the field to the green flag next.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Chicago is brought to you by Goodyear, chosen for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. And Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win one-of-a-kind NASCAR VIP experiences.
Chicagoland Speedway set for a speedy Saturday night as the NASCAR Nationwide Series goes racing for 300 miles. It's the 14th race of the season, a campaign lately that's been dominated by Roush Fenway Racing in the last 3 weeks. They've won 3 straight races with 3 different drivers and 3 different cars, the first time that's ever been done. There are 3 men ready to call the action, and it's not the first time ever for them. Upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie. Marty.
And thank you. I appreciate it, Alan. Hello again, everybody. Glad that you're with us as we're getting ready to go racing. One of the things that we're seeing this year is a trend towards fewer and fewer double-duty drivers. Take a look at this. Here are the last 5 races, and notice at the bottom, after 13 races last year, 148 double-duty. This year, it's down to 106, which means, guys, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity.
Yeah, once again, the word of the week is this opportunity for these nationwide regulars, some young drivers here, to come out here and either get a victory, a good solid finish, or help their sponsorship chances if that's what they're looking for. But let's not mistake, just because there's only 4 of these guys here, they are 4 tough customers, so you're still going to have to do your job on the racetrack, run hard, but that chance is there for you to steal a victory here tonight.
This is exactly what NASCAR had in mind when they changed this eligibility requirement for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and it's really done that. It's created opportunities for young guys, and it's put a lot of emphasis on these guys that are running for the championship.
Well, if you weren't with us for qualifying, we had monsoon season at about 4 o'clock local time today. Take a look in case you weren't with us a little bit earlier in countdown. This is what happened it literally hailed, and it lasted for about 15 minutes, and it washed out qualifying. You could see the guys scrambling just to take cover. What it's done is washed all the rubber off, and what do we expect? We got about half a minute here.
Well, what they're going to have is a different track. That hard rain washed a lot of the rubber off. NASCAR is going to throw a competition caution at lap 25 to just get everybody back up to speed, and if they need to make adjustments to their cars. And the crew chiefs will have an eye on that radar.
Yeah, and they'll be keeping their drivers in touch with that, too. If they need to go a little bit harder, they can get up on the wheel and get it done by halfway.
Well, we'll see what happens, but right now it's time to get race number 14 of the 2011 season started. Let's go trackside for the command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome back the I-Train. Defensive end of the Chicago Bears, number 71, Israel Idonajay.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yeah, that sounds really good right there. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's a 51 5. I figure we give it a 1 or 2. Yeah, it's 1.
Definitely Israel's big enough. Everybody listen to that command. All 42 engines have fired. Boy, he is a big guy. And our in-race reporter this week is going to be the driver of that number 16 as we welcome back Trevor Bayne. Of course, it was a big time for Trevor when he won Daytona. Remember when Trevor Bayne raced his way into the history books, winning the Daytona 500 earlier this year? Remember what he said? You gotta be kidding me. No, it was for real. It was also for real that he missed the last 5 races, but he's back, and we're glad that he's here. We're going to talk to him in a moment, and there's the starting grid across the top of the screen. You notice that Trevor is back further in the field. That's because their car missed the Iowa race. He'll start 31st, according to the rule book. Let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Sir, I do. You got me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Hey, buddy, let me first say welcome back. Glad to have you here. Can you tell our viewers maybe how long it took you to kind of come up to speed of going 180 miles an hour since you haven't done it in a while? And do you have any more butterflies today than normal?
Well, I took a couple laps of being cautious. You know, the first run of practice, I was a little bit easier to get into the corner, but, you know, by the end of the second practice, we're at the top of the board, so I think we kind of picked up right where we left off, so I'm excited to be in the car. No butterflies, actually, either, so I'm ready to go, man. This is not exactly where I wanted to start, but, you know, we can't help the rain, so we'll see if we can't get this Avnet VMA Ford to the front here.
All right, Trevor, our second question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Hayden from Lincoln, Nebraska asks, do you feel any pressure after seeing your buddy Ricky win at Iowa?
I don't feel any more pressure, but, that just shows me that we can do this, it shows me that the Nationwide regulars have the talent to do it, and I obviously know these Roush Mustangs have the ability to do it because they've won, I can't tell you how many in a row, but this 16 car was actually in victory lane last week, so hopefully I can do it again for my guys.
All right, man. Again, glad to have you back. Good luck tonight. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you, guys.
Let's check in on the rest of our onboard cameras. We've got a total of 9 for you tonight, including Ricky Stenhouse, Trevor's teammate, Danica Patrick, Brad Keselowski, and, of course, Mr. Sorensen, Kevin Harvick, Jason Leffler, Carl Edwards, and Stephen Wallace. Time to get the last-minute updates from pit road. How about our points leader? Let's go to Mike Massaro.
Marty, expectations, they've surrounded Elliott Sadler all season long, and for the most part, he's lived up to them. For the 3rd straight race, he enters as the championship leader. Still, one question remains. When will he win a race in 2011? Elliott Sadler has led just 2 races throughout the course of the season. Still, confidence very high tonight as he rolls off second on the grid. Dave Burns.
Brian Eichler put 7 laps on the 60 car in the very first practice here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Later, Carl Edwards flew in from his Sprint Cup duties at the Kansas Speedway to get behind the wheel of the 60 car, as he is now. He took only 15 more laps. I asked Carl just before he jumped in today, was that good enough for you? He said 15 laps? Yeah, that was enough. This from a guy who's already won 3 times this season. Dr. Jerry Punch?
And we all know that Kevin Harvick is one of the best closers in the sport, but what happens if you don't get a chance to even start a weekend? Folks, Kevin Harvick has not turned a single lap here in the Nationwide car all weekend, instead having talented but inexperienced driver David Mayhew practice the Nationwide car while he focused on the Cup car in Kansas. But these folks here behind me in the pits, they don't look too worried because they know their driver, Kevin Harvick, has won here 4 times, twice in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car and twice in the Nationwide car. Vince Welch.
Series dominator Kyle Busch, who's won 2 of the last 3 races here, is not in the 18 car tonight. That opportunity is in the hands of 26-year-old Kelly Byers, whose best finish this season is 30th. The crew chief of the 18, Jason Ratcliffe, told me earlier today the key for Byers is that Byers provides accurate feedback so Ratcliffe can adjust the car properly. Handling that task will go a long way toward Byers earning his best finish of the season, Marty.
All right, thank you, Vince. Let's check in on our over-the-wall reporter. It's Mark Hollywood Armstrong. He is the front tire changer on the 66 of Stephen Wallace. And Hollywood, what's the key word for tonight?
Well, Marty, the key word tonight is communication. It's not just about changing tires and adding fuel to the car, but it's communicating with the crew chief and us carrying out our assignments here on pit road. The crew that can do that the best and communicate, it could very well spell success on the racetrack and go to victory lane.
All right, you guys be safe down there, all right? Let's take a look at our Goodyear track facts, and 45 miles an hour is your pit road speed, but what jumps out at you, DJ?
Well, you see those 18 degrees of banking. That's not a concern. What's concerned is how rough it's gotten on the bottom of this racetrack, especially the entry to 1 and 3 could make for some fun side-by-side racing for us to watch.
Yeah, a little bit of character this track has is that back straightaway is not exactly straight. It has a little bit of curve to it, too.
As we get ready to go green, there is the backstretch, as it'll be Eric Almirola and Elliott Sadler. This is the only track active on the NASCAR Nationwide Series where the first 2 starting positions have never won. And will that change tonight? We're about to find out. Pace car has pulled down pit road, and the 14th race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series for 2011 is green. Nice and wide going down that backstretch. You see 3 wide in several different spots. Eric Almirola right now out in front of Elliott Sadler.
Saw Kevin Harvick just behind this group go real high in turn 1 and 2. He's got it back down on the bottom now behind Danica Patrick at the line.
Yeah, Doc's talking about he hadn't made a lap here where that first one might leave a little to be desired if he going to have to get it back. It could have been a situation of the splitter hitting a little bit, Kevin not being used to the car and how it reacted.
Harvick running in 17th, right behind Patrick. Saw Leffler in the 38 take a look to the inside there in the Great Clips car. The top 5 cars trying to open up a little bit of room, still double file further back. Stephen Wallace in that mix, along with his teammate Michael Annett in the 62 on board with Wallace.
But even though there's not a lot of rubber on this racetrack, since that rainstorm, things have stayed relatively cool here, so they've got a good racetrack to turn some fast laps on right now.
Wallace taking a look underneath the 11 of Brian Scott.
These first 2 laps have been the fastest laps run this weekend.
Justin Allgaier right there in the 31. Boy, he needs a big performance. He's 22 points behind as we get a battle now for second place shaping up between the 2 of Elliott Sadler and the 60 of Carl Edwards.
Yeah, what I saw there is it looked like Carl was going to take that spot away down the front straightaway. It looks like he will get that second spot going down into turn 3, but Elliott Sadler was able to hang pretty tough on the outside right there.
So Sadler dropping back to 3rd. Right behind him is the 6 of Stenhouse and the 22 of Brad Keselowski. We can tell you that Dennis Setzer has pulled it behind the wall. So has the 55 of Brett Rowe. It looks like one other car may be heading in that direction as well. Chase Miller is off, and Jeff Green. Trevor Bayne, remember he started 31st. He has already moved up to 19th, guys, as he has gotten around the 70 of Scott Wimmer and is moving forward.
Well, the good thing about it, not there's a good thing about having to start back there, but the good thing about being here and doing that, you have a wide racetrack, you have a fast race car, you can make a lot of passes.
Let's get an update from Dr. Jerry Punch.
Pretty funny, guys, with Trevor. You know, he said, I've waited 6 weeks to pass race cars, so I'm not waiting any longer. The team is trying to get him to be a little more patient here early on because it's a long race and you got plenty of room to pass. Trevor says the car feels that good, I might as well make the moves while I can. And he's obviously doing it right now fairly easily, looking underneath Danica Patrick.
He's got a fender under, and here he comes side by side. They cross the stripe, and it looks like getting clearer, getting down into 1, yes. Let's go back a little bit earlier because Trevor had one of those moments.
See right there, the track's real bumpy in that section, and he is underneath some cars, runs right up behind Danica with just a little bit more speed.
Yeah, kind of what happened there, you can see him run up on Danica Patrick. Right? You jump out of the throttle, the front end really reacts a lot with the shocks and the springs that you have to run. You have to really be careful. So driving these cars isn't easy even when you come out of the gas.
Let's check in back up front because Carl Edwards has narrowed the gap, as you can tell. And side by side, Stenhouse, along with the 2 of Elliott Sadler, they almost got together.
Now, all these cars coming back together for the lead now. See, Stenhouse car is pretty fast, but boy, it's pretty free too.
Ricky taking another run at Elliott in the 2. It's Almirola Edwards. Then you see Sadler and Stenhouse right there. Then 5th place is Keselowski. Then you drop back 2 seconds to Reed Sorensen in 6th. Here we go again as it looks like Stenhouse took another peek but can't quite get enough bite.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler told me how rough this racetrack was, especially on the bottom. He said even more so than what he remembered being here last year. I think he's going to try to utilize and get that second groove worked in. He can keep the power up as we see Carl Edwards trying to take the lead now.
Well, Carl used that high groove in the middle of 3 and 4 to get the momentum, and then he kind of swung low to pass Almirola, but he's working that highlight. And you can see Elliott Sadler right now looking to the outside, too, of the 88 car.
Well, Carl is our second leader, and you saw the wiggle of the 88 of Almirola, and it's going to cost him again because he's going to lose second spot to Sadler. And Stenhouse wants a piece of that action as well.
I talked to Elliott Sadler yesterday during happy hour. He said that they have been going down a few roads with their setups that really haven't been what they were looking for. They came with something different here, and he feels really confident that they've got a good package for this race and this mile-and-a-half type racetrack.
Ryan Truex and Stephen Wallace, that is a battle for 10th right now. And again, this is the last race for Ryan Truex unless they can find more sponsorship. Of course, Patrick Carpentier will be driving that car in Montreal, and 7 races for Travis Pastrana in the 99, starting at Indianapolis. But they still want to find more sponsorship to get Ryan back in that 99.
Yeah, and we can see just how difficult this is going to be tonight to complete that pass from down on the inside. That car on the outside can keep the momentum, and you need all of the racetrack. You see Stephen Wallace's car walk up the racetrack a little bit as it goes across those bumps.
Don't forget, we have a competition caution because of the heavy rain earlier today at lap number 25. And we're working lap number 12 right now. Carl Edwards is your race leader. Elliott Sadler, Eric Almirola, Ricky Stenhouse, and Brad Keselowski. That's your top 5 here at Chicagoland Speedway. Welcome back to the STP 300 here at Chicago, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. As we've knocked down a total of 16 of the 200 laps here, and race leaders Carl Edwards, it's the 10th straight race that Carl has led, his longest streak of races led in his 225th Nationwide Series start. Second place is Elliott Sadler. And then you've got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in third. Eric Almirola has dropped back to fourth, and Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 5. A couple of cars, in fact, a total of 4 that are out of this race now. Harmon, Jeff Green, Chase Miller, and Brett Rowe. Johnny Chapman is just turned off the track and has gone behind the wall, but not officially out of the race yet. So far, a total of 33 cars are still on the lead lap. Some of the cars that are really starting to make some moves, there's one of them, the 33 of Kevin Harvick. He has jumped up from 18th now to 9th as he is battling with Mikey Kyle.
Yeah, Mikey Kyle done a nice job here. He's been pretty fast all weekend, but good job staying up in the top 10 here so far.
Yeah, he's staying ahead of Harvick here. Harvick rubs on him a little bit up the back straightaway. Or not so straightaway.
Yeah, I was going to say.
On that back
you said it was curved.
On that curved straightaway back there. All right, Doc, what do you have on the 33?
Well, we told you Kevin Harvick had not been in the race car at all this weekend until the race started. And right now, he has his hands full in that 33. Listen in.
I don't need lap time. Just think about what you need to do here. It's out of control. Go like over the top, but give me a really good adjustment here for loose. Hit 4, I'll take care of it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, he's about an 8.5 loose. The car is all over the racetrack. You saw him a moment ago trying to turn it and keep it off another car. They're going to put a rubber insert in the left rear and drop the track bar at lap 25 if he can hang on that long.
Well, Doc, just as you finish up, Elliott Sadler took the high line and went around Carl Edwards. So we have our third different leader.
Since the start of this race, Elliott Sadler's not even looked at the bottom of the racetrack. He started the race up high. He's run almost every lap up there, and now it's really working. He's got that groove kind of worn in, and he is moving.
He really is. Really looks like you've got a ton of horsepower, but he's keeping so much momentum up there. And Elliott was talking about just how rough this racetrack was. Again, you see Carl Edwards trying to fight back on the inside, but I think this is really a track that he's adapted to in this car. And Andy, I think those changes you were talking about that they've made have really helped. Great battle here for the lead.
Side by side, they've got lap traffic in front of them. The 81 of Blake Cook plays a factor in it. Elliott has to back out, surrenders the position, and loses about 3 car lengths in the process. Don't forget, we've got a competition caution coming up at around lap 25.
To go back to what they were talking about with Kevin Harvick, that car being so loose, that is really difficult to drive at a place like this where you have high speeds over 180 miles an hour, a loose race car like that, not a ton of banking to hold it. Really is a handful for the driver.
Got to check back in on the 16 of Trevor Bayne. This guy, he hasn't forgotten what to do out there, even though he's missed 5 races. Bayne right now looking at Mikey Kyle, and that is for 10th. And remember, he started 31st.
Well, that's a great run from the back for Trevor Bayne so far.
He entered the top 20 on lap 4, the top 15 on lap 14, and here he is. Man, he is on the move. And side by side, Jason Leffler along with Mikey Kyle right behind Trevor. So Mikey slipping back a little bit. Whoa, a little wiggle there from the 38.
Yeah, to watch Trevor Bayne in the 16 car there, I know we're going back here, but he's really able to hold the car out and make a good arc into the corner. So you miss those bumps. It doesn't look like that it makes him loose, and then he gets a great run off the corner. See Jason Leffler still trying to make this work on the inside.
On board with Leffler. Oh, they look like they touched. We're Working lap number 25. We should see a competition caution coming out next time the leaders come by, as Leffler has now cleared Mikey Kyle. I can tell you that Johnny Chapman is taking it behind the wall. So is Matt Carter and Rick Crawford. 3 more cars behind the wall. Race leader is Carl Edwards with Elliott Sadler, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's your top 3 right now. A couple of the Turner Motorsports teammates going after each other as the caution now comes out at start-finish. As Justin Allgaier is getting around Reed Sorensen. We'll wait and see if that holds up, depending on when the actual caution came on. So if you're Kevin Harvick, he's up to 9th, guys, and he says he's got a handful of a race car. If he gets a good car, look out.
Yeah, he's going to have to make some adjustments, and they're probably. You can tell by his voice that he wants a pretty big adjustment.
Yeah, but that shows you just how good he really is. I mean, you take a car that's a handful that you haven't driven, and you move it up to 9th from the start of the race. And remember, he started back in the 18th position.
Yeah, if you don't think he's good, he's won 3 Cup races this year and only led 9 laps in those races. So he knows how to get it done.
At the end, anyway.
At the end, yeah.
Crews on the wall as they're getting ready to go to work. That's Danica Patrick's team right there. Right before that was Carl Edwards, and there's Harvick's bunch.
You have to be careful not to over-adjust your car right here, as the racetrack's going to change with more rubber and the sun going down even more. So, and you have to be a little bit on the cautious side.
The one thing I do, as far as Harvick is concerned, he knows what he wants, and that's what's good about having a veteran driver drive the car. So if he says he really needs a big adjustment, I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. I know I would still be cautioning him, hey, let's don't adjust yourself too much, but if he's calling for it, he needs it.
Here they come as they make the turn down pit road, 45 miles an hour, and Dr. Jerry Punch is up first.
Kevin Harvick's Budweiser Cup crew on hand to pit him here in the Nationwide car tonight. They have called off the adding the rubber in the left rear because they don't want to over-adjust. Just like you guys said, they are going to drop the track bar by 2 rounds and put on 4 tires. Vince Welch.
Danica Patrick's car started out tight, then was sliding as the tires started to wear a little bit. They're going to go a half round down on the track bar and take a rubber out of the left rear and 4 tires. Mike?
Elliott Sadler saying he's good on entry but gets tight rolling through the center. They're going to make an adjustment on the air pressure on the left side tires, also a track bar adjustment, and 4 tires, Dave.
Race leader Carl Edwards will take Sunoco fuel, but it is slow changing 4 tires and giving him a track bar adjustment for a loose race car. He'll lose the lead.
Well, the 18 of Kelly Byers took only 2 tires. First off appeared to be Elliott Sadler. There he is, with Byers jumping up quite a few spots, and we'll reset it for you here at Chicagoland when we come back. Hey, after completing one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history, Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks return to Dallas Sunday night with the momentum. Series is tied at 1 game apiece. What do LeBron, Dwayne, and the Heat do in game number 3 of the NBA Finals? It's on ABC, and our coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern with the Buick Regal NBA Countdown, and the game can also be seen on ESPN 3D. All right, Elliott Sadler is your race leader. He knows a lot is expected of him.
We feel good about leading the points. We know we got to do some things better to keep the points lead. Ricky's been running very, very good. Reed is going to be very consistent everywhere we go. We already know this, so we've got to keep up in the ante as far as our race team is concerned to keep the points lead. So hopefully we'll be able to do that starting this weekend.
And as you can see, he has chosen the high line. That's where he's been running all night, as you pointed out, Andy. Alongside will be Kelly Byers, then Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola, Carl Edwards, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is your top 6. Charles Lewandowski gets the lucky dog. As you see who's lined up side by side, Edwards and Stenhouse, pace car leading them around, Sorensen and Allgaier, Bain and Scott in row number 5. We've had a total of 4 leaders. We can tell you during the break, Derek Cope stayed out in that all-important battle for the last owner's points position, 30th. He picked up a little bonus action there. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at Chicagoland. Well, Boy, Sadler had a good start, but Kelly Byers pulls back up underneath him. Looks like they may try and go 3 wide, and they are further back in the field. Now we're 4 wide.
Pretty impressive. Kelly Byers on 2 tires takes that lead.
You have to keep an eye on this little experiment. I know Jason Radcliffe in the past with Kyle Busch is normally 4 tires pretty much all the time. They like to adjust from that scenario, but got him out front right now.
We'll see how long it can last. A big opportunity for Kelly Byers. He knows that he has to perform well in this car.
There's a lot of pressure on Kelly Byers to get in a car that's won a lot of races. Got a 3 wide battle getting into turn 3 with Carl Edwards on the bottom.
Yeah, Carl got a little loose, it looked like, and boy, the 31 of Allgaier took advantage.
Yeah, took it right to the middle of those 2 Roush Fords.
Split the difference. The field goal was good. Here comes Edwards back. Of course, the big topic of discussion all week, the power of the FR9 engines, as the Fords have been, shall we say, crushing competition. Battle for the race lead. Kelly Byers is under attack from the number 2 of Elliott Sadler, and Sadler's going to clear him. And here comes Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, looks like Brad Keselowski's car is a little better this run than it was the first run.
Whoa! Elliott looked like he brushed the wall with the right rear quarter panel.
He may have just touched the wall. I've actually seen him do that a couple of times already today.
Yeah, and that high line I don't think is going to be the fastest way for the first 2 or 3 laps on new tires, but once the air pressure builds up, I think that that's the way to go, and Elliott seems to be married to that spot. It'll work well for him all night.
And I think we're getting our answer on the 18 on the 2-tire change. What about it, Vince?
That's exactly right, Marty, but they felt like it was a gamble that they wanted to take to try to gain this track position early for Kelly Byers. And you guys upstairs mentioned the pressure on him. Maybe it's self-imposed to perform well in this 18 car as you see the 3 wide battle now, but also keep in mind the 18 came into this race second in owners points behind the 20 team, and the 20 team is not here this weekend. So it's a big race for the 18 as well in regards to the owners championship as we look down the road.
You know, you mentioned that 20 cars. We saw that 3-car battle there with Leffler in the 38, Danica in the 7, Stephen Wallace in the 66. That 20 car, 291 races, 25 wins, and 166 top 10s. That's well over 50%.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, as we see now. Brad Keselowski going to the inside, trying to take this lead away from Elliott Sadler.
Keselowski
on that 22.
Boy, they did, and here he comes. He's got the inside track, and it looks like he's going to clear. Great camera angle there. You could see how the 22 just took the corner. Here comes Carl. He's going to go side by side with Elliott. And further back, you see Stenhouse, as he has got side-by-side action as well. That's with Allgaier. So Allgaier, again, another one of those guys that needs a big race. He's 22 points behind in the championship in 4th place. And remember, there's only 43 for winning. And he does not want to lose any more ground.
Just behind this group, you see Kevin Harvick sneaking in the picture. He's running that real high line also. Another KHA.
He's
KHI car.
That was easy for you to say, wasn't it? He's up to 7th. Stenhouse side by side again, at least for the moment. Here they go through the corner. He and the 31 of Allgaier.
There's a good bit more room as they race off of turn 2 to where you can, if you're down on the inside, you can use up more of the racetrack. There's more available room there than turn 4. It gets a little bit tighter. But you can see Ricky Stenhouse made the pass now on Justin Allgaier.
So Stenhouse into the 4th position. Bump Allgaier back to 5th. And there's your race leader as Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, and Elliott Sadler, your top 3 after 38 of 200 laps here at Chicagoland. Back here at Chicagoland Speedway after 43 laps, you see we have a lead change as Carl Edwards during the commercial break took advantage of one minor mistake by Brad Keselowski to retake the lead here. Our 9th lead change. Let's go back and show you what happened.
Yeah, it's just you hit one of these bumps a little bit wrong. You can see Brad has to chase that car. It just gets a little bit loose. That opens the door for Carl Edwards.
So Carl, who's led 20 laps so far, Keselowski, as he's led a total of 7, now bumped back to 2nd. And Edwards has just passed 700 laps led in this year of 2011. In third place is points leader Elliott Sadler, and he's about 9/10 of a second behind the race lead. And from fourth on, well, why don't we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance and Mike Massaro.
Marty, I had a conversation with Ricky Stenhouse's crew chief, that being Mike Kelly, earlier this weekend. I asked him how the Iowa win has changed the expectations on that team. He said, simple. We expect nothing short of winning. So much, in fact, that has spilled over to the team. They had a couple of miscues on pit road last week, and because of that, they've elected by themselves to do 2-a-day practice sessions all this week in an effort to get better. They've been flawless so far this afternoon. Vince?
The 31 car, Justin Allgaier, is running fourth. He's up 9 spots from where he started. Says they just haven't been able to find good speed with this race car. The balance hasn't been too bad leading into this race, but they haven't been as fast as they had hoped. Right now, the car is just a little bit too free. They're trying to run the bottom in 3 and 4 and run up top in 1 and 2. They think that's the best line for them so far. Justin Allgaier from Riverton, Illinois, about 150 miles away. A lot of friends and family here today. Mike? Doc?
Despite starting in a car that's very, very loose, Kevin Harvick drove it from 18th position all the way up to 9th and said, I really need you guys to help me. On that pit stop, they dropped the track bar 2 rounds, and Harvick said, it's better. I'm up to 6th, but it's still very, very loose. We're still going to work on it next time in. Dave.
Doc, on that last restart, Eric Almirola, the pole sitter, was in the 4th position, but he's fallen back. They made an adjustment to make the car looser. Pop Shuri, the crew chief, told me one thing he wanted to guard against this weekend was being too loose, as you see him being challenged now by Trevor Bayne. Eric radioed in, well, either the track is looser or you guys with those 2 adjustments made it a lot looser, but it's definitely too free for me right now. Doc?
Trevor Bayne, first time in a race car in 6 weeks, started way back in 31st position, folks. In 24 laps, he was running 10th. Remember in Daytona in February, he started 32nd and won the Daytona 500. Trevor Bayne wants this race in a big way, and his team wants to give it to him. Right now, a little bit free in the corner as he hangs on underneath the 88 car. Now behind him is the 11 car of Brian Scott. Brian said the car was tight in the center, but good off after the pit stop. He said, now, guys, we're going to have to go back on the wedge because the car is really feeling bound up. I'm having a hard time getting it to turn in the corner. Vince.
The 18 is being driven by Kelly Byers. We made that note earlier. Kyle Busch running the truck race in Kansas today, finished 6th. And, of course, we'll run the Sprint Cup race there tomorrow where he qualified 3rd. Byers' car just a little bit too loose in the center and off, although the track bar adjustment they made on that first pit stop did help. Crew chief Jason Ratcliffe and I'm playing the role of crew chief / cheerleader / psychologist to keep the 18 car with 2 tires still steady and in the mix. Marty.
All right, thanks, Vince. A total of 9 cars are listed out of this race. A 10th, Robert Richardson, is behind the wall. We have a total of 27 cars. Check that, 26 on the lead lap as Derek Cope has just gone a lap down. Carl Edwards, your race leader. We just passed the quarter mark with Brad Keselowski right behind. Stay with us.
Where winners are celebrated, champions are crowned, and legends are born. Home of the biggest events in motorsports, ESPN and ABC.
In recent weeks in this NASCAR Nationwide Series on ESPN and ABC, we have seen Jack Roush's teams be the dominant players. After Carl Edwards won at Dover, went to Iowa Speedway, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got his first Nationwide Series win. And then last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it was Matt Kenseth subbing for Trevor Bayne and driving that number 16 car to victory lane. 3 consecutive races, 3 Roush Fenway Racing Nationwide Series wins with each of their different teams and 3 different drivers. Pretty impressive for the Cat in the Hat and those in his employ. Past the quarter distance tonight in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race here at Chicagoland Speedway. Time for some studio shout-outs.
There you go.
with Rusty and Brad as we watch the first quarter of this race unfold. Rusty, who stands out?
Well, Justin Allgaier, the 31 car going by you right there. I mean, this guy kind of started back a little bit. He's been trucking himself forward. That car is really running good for him tonight. He's been racing Kevin Harvick a lot out there. And car's handling pretty good right now. He's swept in this area. He's got to be a big race for Justin tonight.
How about it, big fella?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny Wallace, guys. I mean, Kenny's having an outstanding season. Has really bounced back from last year where he was in subpar equipment, didn't have quite what he needed. He's currently 7th in the points. He's had a good run tonight. He's stayed around that top 10. He looks like he's going to be a threat to be up in the top 5 before this night's over with.
Kenny right now soldiering on there, trying to chip his way up into the top 10 in this race. One caution in the race, the only one. The competition yellow a little while ago. Carl Edwards is back out in front. He has spent more time in the lead than anyone else in this race thus far as we swing it back upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
Thank you, Alan. One more car that just turned off behind the wall. The 51 of Jeremy Clements has taken it to the garage area while you continue to watch Carl Edwards out in front. Right now, the Fords are doing very well. First, third with Stenhouse, and Trevor Bayne is now up to 6th and is closing on Kevin Harvick. There you see the 22 of Brad Keselowski as he is trying everything he can in the book to narrow the gap, and it's just not working.
I tell you, the thing that I see with Carl Edwards and Ricky Stenhouse and even Trevor Bayne, they have these Roush Fords. They do have a lot of power. There's no doubt about that. They really have these cars, the shocks and springs worked out on because they're able to run the bottom of this racetrack better than the other drivers are, and that's making a big difference, taking that shorter way around, but it's not costing them speed.
Well, and as usually happens when somebody starts to really perform, some people start complaining about having too much power. And, of course, we've got a caution on the track now.
It sounds like a car blew up right here.
Going down past the start-finish line here.
So right off of turn 2, I don't know what, you can't see the car number. He's off the pace for sure. You could hear it blow up right here at the start-finish line.
Yeah, we'll finish the story. There it is. It's Mikey Kyle in the 30. Bad break for him. Kyle started this race 5th after some strong practice laps and was running in the top 10 for a while. But let's go back and show you what happened.
See the smoke start trailing just before he got there. Like either a piston, could have been
something important.
Valve there. Yeah, something important in there.
So he does make it around and make it to pit road. And the field will bunch up and gives us a chance to finish that story. I really enjoyed Richard Childress' comment on Sirius NASCAR radio earlier this week. He was asked about that thing. He said, hey, the Ford folks did their homework. It's time for us to do ours.
Yeah, Doug Yates had obviously working with him for a lot of years and a huge amount of respect. He kept telling me that it was taking a lot more time than maybe they anticipated with this new engine, but they wanted to have it all ready when it was time to roll it out, and they have done a terrific job, Andy. And other things they've done with it have helped the performance of the race car, too.
Yeah, they took it on the chin there for a while, but when they did get this engine in the cars, it gives everybody, the crew chief, more tools to work with because it does run cooler. They can run more tape. They can change their setups. So it's been a real win thing for Ford.
Well, they're coming into pit road, and we're going to send it down to Dr. Jerry Punch again.
Guys, Trevor Bayne said the car just a little bit free on entry, so they're going to put 4 tires on him and a slight air pressure adjustment. That's the top of your screen. How about the middle for Justin Allgaier? Vince?
For Justin Allgaier, he says it's just way too loose in the middle of the corner off. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the left rear, 4 tire change. Mike?
Ricky Stenhouse said on that last run, it started free on entry and progressively got worse, was free throughout the corner. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and a 4 tire change in Sunoco Race Fuel, Dave.
Last time on pit road, front tire changer Thomas Hatcher for the 60 team hung a lug nut. That didn't happen this time. With a 4 tire change, Carl Edwards wins the race off of pit road.
You're right about that. In fact, the first 4 stay the same, and Trevor Bayne lost a spot. He almost got run into the grass. In fact, he did get run into the grass when Justin Allgaier came out. Allgaier picks up 2, so did Almirola.
You see Kevin Harvick lost 3 spots there.
Here's what happened.
Yeah, that's taking advantage of the situation right there with Justin Allgaier.
Go on board.
Number 33, Ford 1, don't speed.
Just that close, but Trevor manages to keep it clean, and he's back out on track. Carl Edwards still in front. Welcome back to the STP 300 here at Chicago, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Carl Edwards has now led 41 laps, and Trevor Bayne, in his return, started 31st. He's now up to 6th. And some big problems for Stephen Wallace. He's the last car on the lead lap. He's had multiple pit stops here under this caution. Mike Massaro, what's happening?
Well, Marty, I talked with Stephen before the race. He told me he didn't have any idea what to expect out of his race car. Well, he does now. It's extremely loose. So much, in fact, as you mentioned, he stopped on pit road twice. The team went underneath that car and physically lowered the track bar on the left side 1 inch. Still trying to get that car to tighten up a little bit so that Stephen can drive it.
All right, thanks for the update. Charles Lewandowski gets the dog again. 3 wave arounds. Wise in the 39, Blake Cook, and Carl Long. Our race leader's Carl Edwards. He has chosen the high side again. Brad Keselowski alongside Stenhouse Jr. and Elliott Sadler and Justin Allgaier round out your top 5. Green flag flies. We're racing again. Jeremy Clements just coming out of pit road. You saw him, he's several laps down already. And on the restart, Carl Edwards and Elliott Sadler. And Sadler going back up to the high side. And here comes the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse.
We're really hearing a lot of drivers talk about how loose their cars are, especially on entry.
See Trevor Bayne there. He's got his hands full with Kevin Harvick. Remember, Harvick had a miscue on the pit stop, dropped back. They are duking it out side by side. That is for 7th on the track. We had a glimpse of Keselowski taking a peek underneath. This is still the action farther back. Brian Scott trying the high side around Leffler. Here we go with Keselowski underneath the 6 of Stenhouse. Can he clear him? It looks like he will. That shot down the backstretch gives you a great idea just how rough this track has gotten over the years. Our 11th time here that the Nationwide Series has run, and there's the tunnel that they bounce over.
Looks like it took Brad Keselowski's car a couple of laps to get the air pressures up. They're starting to come back alive on this restart.
Side by side for 2nd place with Elliott Sadler in the 2.
Brad was another driver complaining about loose early in the race, but wanted to leave it alone because he felt like the track would come to his setup, and maybe that's what they're doing here, just trying to get through these early laps.
Yeah, you can see he really wanted to slide up in front of Elliott Sadler there in that 2 car, but just couldn't quite make it work that time. See if he can clear him off of 4.
Gets it done.
Gets it done that time, you're right. Let's get an update on Brad Keselowski. How about it, Dave Burns?
He's been on pit road twice, like most everybody, Marty, taking 4 tires each time. The first set of adjustments did help. Brad radioed into his crew, but the exit of the corner was still the problem. Too loose off the corner. So this last time down pit road, 4-tire change, wedge adjustment for him as we see Sadler now being challenged.
Yeah, by Ricky Stenhouse. And remember, these guys are 1st and 2nd in the points. In fact, separated, well, right now by 1. That's how tight this championship really is. And here comes Stenhouse. He's taking a peek on the inside of the 22.
Yeah, I think Carl Edwards' biggest challenge tonight, if things don't change a lot and somebody really hit on something, is going to come from this 6 car once again, just like we saw at Iowa.
Ricky Stenhouse, as the laps continue to unwind here, seems to get stronger as he makes it look pretty easy, but all of a sudden here he goes a little high, and it allows the 22 of Keselowski to get that low line again.
Yeah, he made the pass there, but he drove it down into 3 a little bit hard. You see Keselowski go all the way to the apron, which is legal here.
And that is not out of bounds. But it also didn't work.
No, it didn't work, and he had a terrible angle getting into the corner. You can see in the middle it made the car go up in the center of the racetrack. Then he couldn't get back to the throttle, so he lost 2 spots.
Great move for qualifying. I think he won't try it again, unless it's the last lap. Back on board with Brad.
See Elliott Sadler still scraping that wall. He's running that extreme high line.
It has not been the best of seasons for our 2010 Nationwide Series champion. In that 22, they've had 4 DNFs, the last one coming back at Dover. But boy, right now, he's got himself a good race car, running in the 4th position. You saw Justin Allgaier there in 5th, and here comes Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, these two raced each other hard earlier in the race.
deal. Just going to have to move him.
Yeah, he's number one on the list now. Guys, everybody like that, don't get it.
Going to get it here in just a second.
Okay, that was earlier conversation, and it was about his opinion of the 31's driving.
Well, they were just racing each other hard, and Allgaier's car was pretty good. Harvick's car a little bit better, and I think Harvick just wanted him to yield that spot, and Allgaier not so eager to give it up. Looks like Harvick's going to have to try to pass him back again here, but not gaining on him too quick.
A little more action farther back in the field. Checking in on Danica Patrick. That is 15th place, Vince.
For Danica Patrick, the car's just been a little bit too tight, but that's not a surprise. Tony Uri Jr., the crew chief, said they have to start the car tight to build up Danica's confidence because that gives her the stability she needs. Then as the race progresses, they back the car off, free it up throughout the course of the race. But it's important to give her that confidence early on. That way, when they do start freeing it up, she's already got the confidence level there. They know it's a long run. Get her all the laps she can get. It's still a learning process for Danica Patrick, Marty.
All right, thanks, Vince. And you can see as she continues to work that steering wheel.
Yeah, and that's not just Danica. That's a lot of drivers. We've heard a lot of these drivers talk about being loose. That's a difficult situation. You have to have a lot of experience to know how to handle those cars, so they're doing the right thing with her. She's having a great race here tonight.
And just to put a period on it, again, she was asked about any deals done as far as next year. She said no, and don't expect any news until the end of the race season. Although one thing I know is the change in the Motegi race from an oval to a road course event now makes 10 road courses and 7 ovals. She likes the ovals. You read between the lines. Quick chance to check the calendar. Our NHRA Super Nationals, the finals are tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Del Worship, #1 qualifier and top fuel again. NASCAR Now is presented by 5 Hour Energy. That's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the Monday edition is presented by Shell Nitrogen, 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And our next stop, a couple of weeks from now, NASCAR Nationwide Series in Michigan, Saturday, June 18th. That's 3 o'clock Eastern over on ABC. Here we've knocked down 83 laps as it's Carl Edwards. He's led a total of 59 of them so far. His lead over second place is a half a second. In fact, why don't we go up to speed and our nationwide championship eligible drivers in the top 5 in points, and it'll start off with the man in second place. How about it, Mike Massaro?
With the hot streak that Ricky Stenhouse is on right now, he's in the thick of this championship battle, just a point behind Elliott Sadler, and believe me, they are very much focused on this. Mike Kelly, his crew chief, told me that he and Stenhouse spent a lot of time together this week. The conversation circulated around how they can minimize giving points away. Kelly told him, he said, look, I gave away some points in Bristol this year by miscalculating fuel. But he said at the same time, Stenhouse acknowledged he gave away some points by smacking the wall in Darlington. The agreement there was to pay attention to their jobs and do what they need to do to win this championship, maximize gaining points instead of giving them away. The guy he's chasing is right behind him on the racetrack, Elliott Sadler, your championship leader. Before the race, though, I got the sense his focus not necessarily on the championship, but on winning a race. He has not done that yet in 2011. I asked him specifically, what's on your mind going into this? He didn't hesitate one bit. He said, I've got to win a race. He just had a conversation with Kevin Harvick. He said, boss man says I've got to go to victory lane, Vince.
Well, running 5th in this race, but 4th in the point standings is the 31 of Justin Allgaier. As you look at Allgaier there in the bright orange car with a little battle on the outside going on. He's been searching for grip throughout the course of this race. Says he just doesn't have the kind of grip he needs, especially when he's challenged in a situation just like you saw. When he gets up behind a car in particular, their stability really goes away. They need to make that better in the 31, Dave.
Vince, rounding out the top 5 in the championship is our pole sitter, Eric Almirola. The car's still too loose for him, but you know, a plan did come together for him this weekend. He led the very first practice today by a bunch. I asked Pops Yuri about that, if that was your plan. He said, yep, second set of laps we took out there, we were ready in qualifying trim. We wanted to be up front. Qualifying rained out, and they had the opportunity to lead laps early, and that's a bonus point, Mike.
Talking to Reed Sorensen before the race, Dave, he gave me the sense he was really struggling. You see Eric Almirola there. The 32 car of Sorensen saying he was struggling with the bumps in turn 3. That continues to be the case, but the problem is a little bit worse than anticipated. He says the car is snapping loose as he hits the accelerator, guys.
All right, thank you, Mike. As there you see side by side, Trevor Bayne and the 31 of Justin Allgaier. Got a little close there. Those guys fighting it out for the 6th position. Bayne trying down low. Can he make it? I think he may have him this time if he can get up ahead. Nope, here comes Allgaier back.
Yeah, you see, I believe Trevor Bayne's car is still a little bit on the loose side. He wasn't able to turn the wheel down into turn 3 and go around the bottom like he had been. I still need to make another adjustment.
Right there, you can see that violent bump getting into turn 1.
We were watching some of the onboards during the commercial, and it is a wicked bump with these coil-bound suspensions.
Yeah, when you have a loose race car and you hit those, you're just hoping that it lands in a relatively straight position to where you can go back to the throttle. But that's what makes it difficult. They talk about being loose under throttle, and once these springs compress, and you hit those bumps, you're not exactly sure sometimes which way it's going.
We are approaching halfway. As you can see, race leader Carl Edwards. We've knocked down 90 of the 200 laps and no rain in sight. So it's looking good here in Chicago. There's a shot for you. All 9 onboards showing you just how rough this racetrack really is. But let's take a look at the 22 of Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, we have to get him on the right part of the racetrack here, but watch how hard he's having to work the steering wheel of this race car.
Now, his car has seemed to be a little more harsh over the bumps, and then when he does go over the bumps, it does get pretty loose on him. He's had his hands full.
He's glad when he gets on what's not even a straight back straightaway, but gives him a little bit of a relief.
We're approaching the halfway mark. And while we're watching all this action and how hard these guys are dealing with the suspension issues, let's check in at the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer.
Marty, a big secret in keeping that front splitter on the ground has to do with the coil-bound situation in the front spring, but it still has to do with the rear springs, because what we try to do with the rear of the car, to keep the nose down, we use a phenomenal amount of rear spring rate. By the rear spring rate, real stiff springs, stiffer than in the front of the car. But when we put these spring rubbers in there, it really makes the back end chatter out and get the car loose. The only way to tighten that car up to get it in a racetrack is soften the spring rate by pulling the spring rubbers out, and you don't spin the tire, the right rear tire, as much off the corner, helps tighten the cars up. Marty?
All right, thanks, Tim. As we continue, Keselowski continues in 5th place, about 6.5 seconds behind our race leader. That man right there, Carl Edwards. He's led 74 of the 98 laps that we have completed here at Chicago. We've had 2 cautions so far tonight for 8 laps, 6 leaders with 9 lead changes. And let's go on board with Carl Edwards. And his ride seems to be a little bit smoother, a little softer.
I think this has a lot to do with the team. I mean, they've been the fastest cars lately, and they have this spring and shock combination and this new car figured out a lot better than the rest of the teams. Dave, what are you hearing about this 60 car right now?
Well, just the fact that Carl went to try a new line. He said, hey, keep an eye on my times for the next couple of laps. He went to the higher side through the corners, and he extended his lead over teammate Ricky Stenhouse Jr. See that group right there? And now he's going back to the bottom. But when he went up high, his times actually did improve. One more thing about this car, the Blue Fastball sponsorship, they announced this week that they have included 7 more races in their deal this year, including this one and the finale in Homestead this year. Now, I know these guys are going fast, but I think they'll go even faster with lots of support.
Well, as you finish up, Dave, this race is official now, but we can tell you that there is no rain in sight. We had that real heavy shower at about 4 o'clock local time this afternoon. Jack Roush on the left side of your screen. Right now, his guys running 1st, 2nd, and 7th. And there's Ryan Truex going a lap down.
Going a lap down there. He needed a good run tonight. But I'll tell you something about Carl Edwards, too. He picked up now, as Dave was talking about, when he moved up the racetrack. Now he's moved back down. But he didn't. I'll guarantee you that Carl Edwards is smart enough to know and didn't want to show Ricky Stenhouse how good his car was moving up the racetrack. That'll be something he'll save in case he needs it later on.
Just to put a period on that 99, Truex is 1 lap down. He is in 20th position, so 19 cars on the lead lap. Ricky Stenhouse, you see the margin behind the race leader. And let's check in with Mike Massaro. What are you hearing?
Marty, just before that last pit stop, we heard Ricky Stenhouse radio in saying that it started out a little bit loose, but progressively got worse and worse and was free throughout the corner. They made some adjustments, and let's just say he's feeling something different now.
I understand how it goes from so loose, and then in 1 lap it goes super tight.
Is your entry any tighter now?
Nope.
What they did was 4 tires. They made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. But Andy, you know as well as anybody how quickly things can change with those types of adjustments. With this new car, just how sensitive is it to those changes?
Yeah, the cars are very sensitive, Mike, because they are basically rigid on these springs, the way they run them, and it just makes it very touchy to adjust on them. It makes it difficult. I was talking to Jimmy Elledge, he's a crew chief for Justin Allgaier, and he was talking about how hard these things are to adjust during the race. There's just a couple of adjustments so they feel like they can feel confident that it's not going to over-adjust the car and they can get something out of it. So it's tricky, and it's hard for these crew chiefs to get these cars right. And you can see, I mean, Stenhouse has been really fighting the wheel on this thing.
Well, we have just completed lap number 104, and the last time all these cars pitted was on lap 63. So if we stay green, we're going to be seeing some pit stops in the not-too-distant future. Stay with us.
Our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap catches you up on what's happened in the first half of tonight's race. Carl Edwards leading at the moment. Danica Patrick back in a stock car for the first time in a couple of months.
She's looking good, too. I mean, she's been very, very consistent tonight. Got that car running up front. She's 16th right now, gains some positions. Danica's right back on track where she left off.
One of the other big stories, Trevor Baynes returned to competition after 6 weeks away.
Glad to see Trevor Baynes back. He's in the top 10 been running really strong. He's passed more race cars tonight than anyone. Glad to have him back.
Up 24 positions from where he started in the field. And the oh-so-close Nationwide Series Championship, well, it hadn't gotten any farther apart in this race. Right now with Ricky Stenhouse here on the racetrack being shown passing Elliott Sadler. That puts the two drivers a single point apart in the standings. Yes, long way to go in the season, but still a preview of, I think, the stretch run to decide the title in 2011. Brad Keselowski has just given up his spot on the racetrack for a stop on pit road, Dave.
Alan, that was 5th place he was running. He felt a bad vibration on the right front tire, so he came down immediately. 4 tires on pit road. Vince.
Still freeing up Danica Patrick's 7 car. It started out tight. They've been slowly freeing it up as they go along. It's a 4-tire change along with that chassis adjustment.
All right, so updates there on Patrick and Keselowski in the early stages of what would be an opening green flag pit stop window. Now, one other story while we're recapping the bigger picture on this race. Elliott Sadler under a little bit of pressure, in my opinion, after, even though he's been the championship leader, not competing for wins as regularly as we probably expected him to this season. Yet he's been in front of his team owner and teammate Kevin Harvick almost all night, in fact, until right now.
Well, I mean, I think we're putting too much pressure on Elliott. I really do. This is a brand new car, a hard car to figure out. Kevin's been driving this car. This is Kevin's company. You see him driving around Elliott right now, but I think he's getting better and better every single week. And look, the guy is up there in the points. He's having a consistent run. So, I mean, yeah, he's got to step up a little bit because he's come from the Cup Series back to the Nationwide Series, kind of to revive his career. But, hey, I think he's doing pretty good, guys.
All right, beginning to see more green flag pit stops start to trickle in now, Mike.
Reed Sorensen wasn't planning on stopping anytime before lap 120, but they developed a bit of a vibration, so they're erring on the side of caution, if you will. A 4-tire change is anticipated for the 32. Also an air pressure adjustment for Reed Sorensen. They complete their service on the right side of that car and swing around to the left side as they go to work now with a chassis adjustment as well. You see the wrench in there, Dave.
Mike, leader Carl Edwards is on pit road, lap 115. They're going to make a track bar adjustment for Carl. On this line, the high line was a little bit fast, but it's just a little bit free for Carl. 4-tire change for him. Looks smooth so far. They'll fill it up with fuel. They won't be able to make it to the end from here, but a pretty good run going for Carl Edwards. Doc?
Ryan Scott, 4 tires, major chassis adjustment as he leads, and in comes Kevin Harvick right behind him. Harvick saying the car is very very, very loose. The track's getting looser. They're going to make an adjustment. Mike.
As we just mentioned, Ricky Stenhouse's car has gone from loose to tight rather quickly. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. They're also going to make a 4-tire change on the 6 car as they complete service on the right side. Now swing around to the left side, Doc.
Trevor Bayne, free in, tight in the middle, and very tight off. Chassis adjustment, track bar, 1 round the left rear, 4 tires and fuel, Trevor said. Suddenly the car got tight. Vince.
The 18 of Kelly Byers has been loose, loose, loose. 2 rounds down on the track bar, air pressure adjustment, and 4 tires as the 18 gets away.
Eric Almirola coming in. Ryan Truex also in. Just a couple of cars left that haven't stopped in this cycle. Vince?
For Ryan Truex, it's been a battle throughout the course of the night. They made adjustments on the first stop, went back on those adjustments in the second stop, just trying to get the car more comfortable for Truex in the 99. A 4-tire change. Dave?
4-tire change for Eric Almirola as well. The car is 2-3-1 round up on the right rear with fuel. It's still really loose for Eric.
Kenny Wallace was the race leader. He's just come onto pit road, continuing the cycle of stops. Then it will be Scott Wimmer and Stephen Wallace still out on the racetrack to stop. Mike?
Kenny Wallace has been talking about the car being just a little bit tight. The call from Scott Zipadelli is for 4 tires and fuel on this car. Going to try to free him up just a little bit as they got to work on the 09. Meanwhile, Scott Wimmer now coming down pit road as well. They'll go to work on that car. He also complaining of a tight race car. They'll make an air pressure adjustment and a 4-tire change along with a little bit of a chassis adjustment as well on the 70.
All right, Mike, thanks. So a couple of Wallaces out there right now. Stephen and Mike, first and second. Then the cycle of stops will complete with Carl Edwards leading Kevin Harvick. And not all that much distance between them as the caution flag comes out.
Yellow's out. 3 and 4. We had one against the wall.
You heard the spotter radio there. Someone scuffed up the wall. And so now, and Ricky Stenhouse is back on pit road, by the way. And that's the one that scuffed up the wall.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little problem with the right front tire.
Right side on it. Right side,
pit stop. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but he had a lot of trouble on that pit stop previously with that right front tire.
So things had been going so smoothly for Stenhouse.
Yeah, he's had a lot of good stuff happen to him over the last few weeks. But let's take a look at the replay here on his pit stop. Oh, no, this is him going down the corner.
That's into the corner.
Yeah, he had a problem. He was way high. It looks like a right front failure going at the corner. Bad, he wasn't even in the groove at all. He was way up top the racetrack then.
Let's go back and look at that pit stop I was talking about earlier where he had a problem with that right front tire. Comes down pit road here, gets woed up, gets it squared up, and watch the right front tire here. Jack goes up. The tire is stuck. It's like it's wedged in there. And the jack gets stuck. Look at that. Jack goes down. It collapses. Just a terrible pit stop for him. And may have been something, Rusty. Didn't quite get that right front tire.
Well, it could have been. It was just a tough pit stop for him right there. But it looks like as he come down that back straightaway, he wasn't even in the black portion of the racetrack.
To make sure we have that fender off that tire.
He wasn't in the groove, and it looks like he must have blown a right front tire, a soft tire we call it, going at the corner. He just going to get a turn and tore that car all up. But you know what, Brad? These old cars are pretty tough.
They are pretty tough.
They sure are, and it looks like he's going to get this thing back in action.
All right, so we'll see the last couple of cars here, 66 and 01, Stephen and Mike Wallace pit, and expect most of the rest of the lead lap cars to stay on the racetrack, which will put Carl Edwards back into the lead and complete this cycle of pit stops. 80 laps to go, well outside a window where anybody could consider going to the finish. So everybody with at least one more stop to go in this race. Hollywood Armstrong.
Now they're going to make an adjustment on the shock in the left rear. Baby, we're going to get this thing with a rock and roll. We're going to go to the front. Let's go, boys. Come on.
Think there's a little adrenaline involved in going there?
He is getting after.
Oh, Hollywood, one of the fastest tire changers in the business. Did a good job.
And they continue to work to repair the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. car after he gets into the wall and brings out caution number 3 in tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Still got 79 laps to go. Jack's got 1 damaged and 1 leading.
Well, on Chicago, everybody was wondering what would Trevor Bayne do when he got back behind the wheel of a race car after missing 5 races. Well, all he's done is passed more cars than anybody else since the start of the race. How about 25 in all, moving 31st up to 6th? And he's our in-race reporter. Let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Sir.
Hey, man, first impressions look pretty good out there tonight, but it looks like you kind of stalled out there in that 5th, 6th, 7th range. What are you working on?
Right now, it's just hard to get by these guys on restarts, and our car's not very good at dirty air. But once we're singled out, this thing is unbelievable on long runs. And then, you know, the first run of the night, I don't know if everybody's just slowing down, trying to make me feel good about myself again or what, but this thing was unbelievable there in the daytime. And, you know, we were able to drive up to 10th. And since then, like you said, we kind of stalled out. As the night came, our car is falling off a little bit compared to everybody else. So we're trying to figure out what it needs right now to be able to get by these next few guys.
Do you feel like the track has actually changed since we've gone to nighttime here?
You know, obviously everybody's working on their cars and getting better, but for me, you know, I've just kind of lost overall grip. I don't feel like I can carry as much speed. Kind of free in and tight over the bumps and then free off. So it's hard to fix those 3 problems, but I know Chris Andrews is working hard to figure out how to do it.
Hey, biggest question, you feeling good in there?
Feel great, man. I'm feeling good. I feel like an astronaut, man. They got so many hoses blowing to me here, and drink systems, all kinds of cool stuff, but I feel good.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Well, Trevor continues out there, as we mentioned, in 6th position. Let's talk a little NBA basketball because what a great comeback it was. One of the best in finals history as the Mavericks return to Dallas Sunday night with momentum. The series is tied at 1 game apiece. Can LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the Heat reclaim the series lead? Well, it's Game 3 of the NBA Finals on ABC, and our coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern with the Buick Regal NBA Countdown. The game can also be seen on ESPN 3D.
Brad Daugherty says the Mavs can't beat the Heat, but I disagree. I think Jason Kidd and Dirk Nowitzki might get it done.
I'll tell you, that was a fun comeback to watch. Lucky Dog is the 62 of Michael Annett. That puts him back on the lead lap and gives us a total of 17 cars on the lead lap. Danica Patrick ends up in this mix going 1 lap down in 18th, which the signal there is she wasn't very good on her in-lap or out-lap because she was not a lap down when she made her pit stop. So that's one of the things she'll have to work on in the future. And as we get ready to go back to green flag racing, of course, Carl Edwards is the race leader. So he's taken the high side with Kevin Harvick. And we've just been told that NASCAR is going to add another lap. There's Brad Keselowski and Elliott Sadler in row number 2. And then you've got Trevor Bayne and Mr. Allgaier in row number 3. Eric Almirola and Brian Scott in row 4. And in row 5, Jason Leffler and Kelly Byers.
Kind of looking forward to see just how Harvick can go on this restart. You know, he struggled with his car handling a little bit in the beginning, and then the end of that last run before they made that green flag stop, he was the fastest car for probably 15 or 20 laps before he pitted.
Well, when Harvick won in 07, he took the lead for the first time with 27 to go. In 05, with 20 to go, he's the only driver in this field that has a Chicagoland win in the Nationwide Series. And here he is, 2nd place.
Well, that's why they call him the closer.
And right behind him will be the 3rd place car of Brad Keselowski. Dave, what are you hearing?
Marty, remember, he started that round with green flag stops with a vibrating right front. He thought, here's the response on the radio after he asked about it when he got back out there.
Right front. You didn't find anything at all, dude? Nothing?
And then after that, after they found nothing, he offered to crew chief Todd Gordon, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll get our 2-seater out here. I'll put that same tire on the car, ride you around, and I'll bet you'll want to get out of it by about 40 laps yourself. So at this point, they don't know what the problem was. They do know that when they put on the new tires, the problem was gone.
All right, thanks for the update, David. As we mentioned, Keselowski will restart in the 3rd position.
Yeah, Brad's the one that made those cars make early stops. They kind of stopped a little bit short of what they could run, but when Keselowski started pitted, it started everybody else down pit road.
12 cars are officially out of this race. 17 are on the lead lap, and the race leader is Carl Edwards. He has led a total of 95 laps. We've had 9 different leaders with 14 lead changes, and we're coming to the close of our third caution. We've run a total of 15 laps under the yellow. Coming down the front straightaway, pace cars off. They accelerate, and we're back to green flag racing at Chicagoland.
Kevin Harvick there on the inside. When he was making all of his time, man, he was up higher than anybody else has been on this racetrack running hard so far.
Right now, Carl Edwards has that groove.
Oh, a little contact there between the two up front. Looks like no harm for either car, and here comes Harvick again down low.
Got a little help. He got a teammate back there with him, too.
Elliott Sadler in third.
KHI won the truck race earlier today with Clint Boyer over in Kansas.
Look where Trevor Bayne finds himself right now, guys. He has moved up to the 4th position. The battle is still on for the race lead.
Well,
Edwards up high.
Harvick is really loose getting in the corner there.
Oh, got close again. Not as close as a couple of laps ago. Sadler goes up high as well. Of course, he's liked that high line all night.
Ooh, Harvick driving hard, but having to use a lot of racetrack getting off the corner.
Back a little bit farther in the field, side-by-side action with Brian Scott now moving ahead of the 31 of Justin Allgaier.
Yeah,
that is for 6th.
Brian Scott having a great race so far. I watched his lap times too. Very fast, and now he's showing what a good car he does have.
Harvick slides up and takes the lead away from Carl Edwards.
So make it Harvick's first time to lead tonight with 72 to go. He becomes our 9th different leader, and look at that. We have 4 wide for a moment there as Ryan Truex is trying to get back on the lead lap.
Now look at Kenny Wallace, man, making it 4 wide. Coming out.
Said he needed a little adjustment to go a little faster. Looked like they got him the right one. Another good run for Kenny Wallace.
Kenny right now in that 12th position, right behind Stephen Wallace in 11th.
See Ricky Stenhouse now got his car kind of patched up. Coming back to the front.
Let's go back up front because Carl Edwards has said, okay, Kevin, you had your chance up front. I'm going to retake the lead, and he does. So now we've 16 lead changes among 10 different drivers.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's strong point tonight has been in the long run. His short run hasn't been his best suit, but we'll see how it works out this run.
You know, you guys had mentioned Ricky Stenhouse. While we watch this battle, we'll let you know he is 21st, 1 lap down, and what one pit mistake cost him. He was 2nd by just a 1.5 seconds behind Carl Edwards before that disastrous pit stop on the right front tire. Can he fight his way back? Carl Edwards, his teammates, in control. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues on ESPN tomorrow and Monday night. First, we've got NL East rivals Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. We've got the Braves and the Mets. And then on Monday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern, Dodgers head to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. The game can also be seen locally in Los Angeles and Philadelphia. And the Major League Baseball on ESPN, Sunday and Monday. Back here, you're riding on board with Reed Sorensen, as Sorensen in 10th place has never really threatened up front, and he's losing a little ground. He's 11 points back in the championship chase based on where everybody is running right now. He would be in 2nd position because of Ricky Stenhouse's issue, but Stenhouse trying to fight his way back. He's moved into the 19th spot, and if he gets past Danica Patrick, that would put him in the lucky dog position. Everybody is chasing Carl Edwards, and there he is with an 0.8 of a second lead. He's led 106 laps. The battle for 7th with Eric Almirola in the 88 and the 31 of Justin Allgaier. 22 car blowing up. Yep, problems for the 22.
Yeah, motor's laying down big. Not sure what's going on. Just switched to D-Box. I'm operating on about 7 cylinders. Volts are 13.5. Water temp 230. Water pressure 30. Oil pressure 60. 9 on the fuel. Laying down big here.
And the caution has come out for the 4th time here, as it looks like Brad Keselowski may end up with his 5th DNF of the year.
Yeah, he scanned those gauges, didn't see anything glaring there. That's why he started switching the ignition boxes, but you can see fluid coming out of the car. That's start-finish line.
Let's go back and show you what happened.
See the smoke, yeah. That's no switching ignition is going to fix that.
So as the caution comes out, bad news for fans of Brad Keselowski. Good news for fans of Danica Patrick. She will get the lucky dog, as she was one position ahead of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse was coming fast, too, so she's getting a good break right here, getting the lucky dog.
That'll give us 18 cars on the lead lap.
The car's okay, a little bit of push in the middle, but the way that the rear sort of comes around on the throttle, I don't know. I don't know if I could deal with a lot more oversteer, so I say just leave it.
Yeah, what she's saying is she just doesn't want it any looser than it is. I mean, she feels pretty comfortable with it. There's probably a part of the track she would like to have it a little freer, but she can't stand to being looser on the throttle.
One of her comments over at Indianapolis, getting ready for the 500 as they get ready to come down pit road, was this is teaching her how to drive a loose race car, and it actually has helped her over there as well. Here they go. Let's go to Doc.
Kevin Harvick has one set of tires left, so they're going to put fuel only in the car. Try to get it full of fuel and save that set for later in the race. Vince.
The 31 of Justin Allgaier, top of your screen, just too loose, has no side bite. They're going to put a round of wedge in the left rear and a major air pressure adjustment in 4 tires. Mike?
Elliott Sadler taking his cues from the 60 car. That's the only reason he came down pit road. Fuel only and a track bar adjustment, Dave.
Mike, Carl Edwards had 2 reasons. They wanted to hit the lugs on the left rear one more time just to make sure they were tight. They did not change tires. They did fill it up with fuel.
Race off pit road. You see this top 3 stay the same. Almirola and Sorensen pick up 3. Look at Michael Annett. He picks up 7, as did Mike Wallace, and Trevor Bayne drops 5. So going to be an interesting restart when we come back. And we're on the cusp here. 60 to go. Can somebody go the distance? Back here at Chicagoland, remember when Brad Keselowski entered 2011 with a record 102 races running at the finish? Well, Dave Burns, this is his 5th DNF of the year.
Yeah, it hasn't been good for the reigning champion of the series. Brad, it seemed like that happened real quick. What did you hear or feel in the car?
Not really sure. It just started slowing down. I thought originally maybe I had the ignition box or something go wrong, but obviously something internal in the Dodge Challenger here. But it's just been one of them years, you know, just where nothing seems to be working. But we had a great year last year, and still proud of the guys that got working on this team. We're fighting really hard. You know, we got Michigan coming up in a couple weeks. The race would have been really good, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more for them there. That race always means a lot to me. But just feel really fortunate and proud to have a sponsor like Discount Tire and Ruby Tuesday that really support this series, that, you know, buy suites and bring people to the racetrack. And glad to have a team and a sponsor like that behind me here in this series. And hopefully we'll get to do this for many years to come. Just been a rough year to date, but we'll keep plugging away and see if we can't get it right and get in victory lane this year.
Thanks, Brad. Marty?
And as you finish up, we go back to green flag racing with Edwards on the high side. Sadler, Almirola, Harvick, Annett. That's your top 5. There were 10 wave arounds, including Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's back on the lead lap. See what he can do. Sadler looks for the lead. He's got the inside line as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, these drivers that just took fuel. Now, this is a really difficult situation. You get these cars full of fuel on tires they've been running on and really create a loose situation. We've heard a lot of them be loose already.
Go on board with Kevin Harvick.
So Kevin Harvick pushes Sadler down in the corner, but here comes Edwards back on the high side.
Well, all night, Elliott's car has preferred that higher line, so he slides back into 2nd place. Harvick into 3rd. There's Reed Sorensen, and that's the highest we've seen Sorensen all night as he's side by side with Almirola. There's Brian Scott in the 11 right behind him.
Brian Scott doing a really nice job, as Andy pointed out again. He had a good solid run last week at Charlotte, coming back with a good run here tonight. Doing a really good job driving this race car.
Right behind that group, you saw the 16 of Trevor Bayne and Justin Allgaier. And there you see all 5 of them.
Now, Trevor Bayne did take tires on that last pit stop. A lot of these leaders just taking fuel.
And Bayne up to the 7th position. So since the restart, he's picked up 3 spots. Getting to be a bit of a logjam. There's Ricky Stenhouse side by side with Danica Patrick. Stenhouse trying to recover from that disastrous pit stop. They're duking it out for 14th on the racetrack. Mike Wallace right in front of him there. He's got an 8-race sponsorship deal with that new movie coming out, Cowboys and Aliens. That should be something.
And Stenhouse got himself back on the lead lap. He'll need a caution here in about 20, 25 laps or so to really make this work, where he can get tires and maximize all of this strategy that they put to good use here.
Boy, did you see that? Danica goes all the way to the apron to keep the momentum to get around the 01 of Wallace, and she does it. Stenhouse took him on the high side. On the right side of your screen, that battle continues with Reed Sorensen in the 88 Almirola, and here comes Allgaier and Brian Scott.
They'll take it 3 wide right between them.
Another field goal attempt, and it looks like Allgaier is going to make it good again.
Contact with Sorensen. Sorensen and Almirola in the 88.
Breaks the momentum enough that here comes the 11 of Scott as well, and it allows Allgaier, look at that, he picks up and pulls away by about 4 car lengths. Trevor Bayne with those fresh tires unable to get around these 3.
See Brian Scott there trying to be patient. They tore up a lot of cars in about a 3-week period. He doesn't want to do that again, but he wants to go on.
He is tucked right up underneath the 88 Almirola. Reed Sorensen's going to get freight trained here. 2 cars around. Here comes Leffler around. Meanwhile, the battle for the race lead is heating up again.
Yeah, Carl Edwards slipped a little bit. He had tried to move up about a lane down in 1 and 2. Almost cost him the lead. Elliott Sadler got a good run.
Yeah, one of the reasons he slipped is Elliott Sadler's putting a lot of pressure on Carl Edwards right now. I think that the track has changed enough, or they have adjusted this 2 car to where they're really about the best car on the track right now.
These two of the 11 leaders. That ties the track record. We're 1 lead change away from tying the track record here at Chicagoland.
You may have it when they come back around.
It could be official if it holds at the stripe. Carl's going to try and deny it, though. Here they come. Side by side.
May have to wait another lap.
3/4 of the race is done, and it's still Carl Edwards shown by 9/1000th of a second ahead of Elliott Sadler. We got a great race tonight, folks. Glad you're with us. Here goes Elliott again. This time he's clearing.
Nice job, Al.
So we've already mentioned the track record, that it's tied, and this lead change at official will make it 19, and that will tie the number of lead changes. Danica Patrick, Michael Annette, those 2 side by side. That is for 13th position. Just ahead of those 2 is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as he is fighting his way back. But you're right, he's going to need that caution. Biggest question I have is there anybody out there, if we stay green, can they go the distance? 60 laps was just at the edge on the high end. And if you are going to go, and if you think we're going to go green, when do you go into fuel conservation mode? A lot of questions to be answered. Stay with us. We'll answer them.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Chicago is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR.
42 laps to go on a Saturday night at Chicagoland Speedway, and some more interesting developments beginning to build as we draw toward the closing laps of this one. From the pit studio with Rusty and Brad, watching the leaders, Elliott Sadler in the 2, leading Carl Edwards in the 60. Sadler leading the Nationwide Series Championship coming into this race, but had not won yet this year, and he says it's all about the trophies for him.
I'm happy for Ricky and his guys for winning the race, but that has nothing to do with our race team. We have to do what we need to do to gain all the points we can each and every race and try to win races. The first time I ever sat across the desk from Kevin Harvick, he said, "We win races at this race team. This is what I built the shop for. We race for trophies."
We race for trophies. I like that.
I do love that, and looks like he might get himself a trophy tonight. You know, I've been watching this race throughout the night. In both of Kevin Harvick's cars, the 2 car there, Elliott Sadler, and Kevin's own car, it looks like as the night goes on, they're getting better and better. And maybe Carl Edwards is starting to lose the grip on this car as it gets darker and cooler. It looks like Kevin's cars are really rocking right now, Brad.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Elliott's been just blazing fast every run tonight. But I've noticed he's backed off his speed just a little bit, as well as Carl. I'm wondering if they think they can get to the end of this run, and if they're trying to conserve just a little bit, just in case there's a green-white checker. A lot of strategy right here.
Well, if you're going to save fuel, you want to do it early in the run and not find out late in the run. Kevin Harvick has slipped back to fourth. Let's check up on some of the contenders, starting with Mike.
Alan, if Elliott Sadler doesn't have enough to worry about with the 60 car in his rearview mirror, he has one other obstacle, that of course being fuel mileage. He and crew chief Ernie Cope debating whether or not they should have stopped last time. They weren't sure they could go the distance. They've crunched the numbers, and Cope has told Sadler, try to save me some fuel. They may need to save one, maybe even 2 laps, Dave.
Mike, crew chief Mike Beam has been very clear to his driver Carl Edwards about what their fuel situation is. Listen.
We're good to lap 200 right there. 200. Green and white checkers, though. No green and white checkers. Right now, lap 200.
Yeah, you heard him. Green-white checkered, though. That means the best hyper-miler in the business, Carl Edwards, might need to save him a couple laps just in case. Vince?
Well, and the same can be said for the 31 of Justin Allgaier. Fuel is going to be an issue for all of these teams as we reach toward lap 200. If it goes green-white checkered, as you just heard Dave mention, there's going to be a lot of teams in trouble. So many keeping their fingers crossed. The biggest problem for the 31 right now of Allgaier, his car's just too loose. Doc?
And crew chief David Hyder has told Kevin Harvick. Initially, he said, Kevin, we're about 4 laps shy. Then he said 2 laps shy. And then he said, Kevin, if you save enough fuel, we can just make it to lap 200, but we have nothing for a green-white checker. Alan.
And unlike in a lot of these races, if you watch them regularly, where this is the part where I come in and say, yeah, but there's going to be another caution. Champion crew chief upstairs, Mr. Petrie, this race you don't necessarily get that late yellow flag.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's one brewing right now anyway. You got to count on it going green, Alan. And you have to get about 5 miles to the gallon to be able to make it to the end.
Alan, I might disagree with you a little bit here. The final green flag stretch has been 35 laps or less in 9 of the 10 Chicagoland races. We've got 35 to go, so we'll see what happens. This is going to be interesting either way.
It looks to me like Carl Edwards is trying to save some fuel, and maybe Sadler is also. It's kind of hard to tell, but I don't see him being very aggressive as far as the 60 team to try to take this lead back.
Elliott Sadler's having to save his race car right there. You can see it really back in to jump out from underneath him.
And these guys are coming up on the 28 of Derek Cope. Cope in the 22nd position. He's the last car. Well, just went a lap down, so we now have 21 cars on the lead lap. You know, Elliott's best finish here was in 3 starts, 21st back in 2008. And it's been 69 starts since Sadler's last nationwide win back to Rockingham of October of 1998. And he still has 34 laps to go.
Yeah, and I can tell you a couple things about these guys. Elliott Sadler's driving style, being his teammate for a while, I know from times we were testing, his driving style will allow him to save fuel just like that. They both have free race cars here. That'll also save a little fuel by letting the cars roll a little bit more. See Carl trying to take the lead back. His Elliott's car looked like it's gotten a little bit on the loose side right now.
Side by side through the corner. Carl down low. They hit the bumps over the tunnel, and here they come. Here goes the outside again as Sadler heading for the stripe, and he'll lead this lap officially. He's led 23 laps. Edwards has led 119. Now, if you were saving fuel mileage, wouldn't it make sense to tuck in behind each other, sort of, you know, like go aerodynamic?
It's still, they're racing, man.
Yeah, and they've actually slowed down a little bit right here. So, thing is a lot of times you get there, you get put in that position, even though Elliott's run the high line a lot, sometimes you just back off and you're racing that, so you're not running quite as hard and using as much fuel.
Carl looking for the race lead this time at the stripe. And officially, Elliott Sadler is listed as the race leader with Edwards just a tick behind. 3 seconds back is Justin Allgaier, and we've got 31 laps remaining, and here they go again.
I'll guarantee you both those crew chiefs are asking just what you were talking about. What are these guys doing? We told them to save fuel. here they are racing each other hard.
Well, but you mentioned their lap times. They're running 32.4, 32.3. Fastest race lap was turned in by Ricky Stenhouse, 30.76.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You'd rather be saving fuel and see your driver out front and able to back off the gas early, save some gas, but you also want to see him out, in the lead. So he's got to try to get this, and it's really they're going to push each other maybe to the point of running themselves out of fuel.
Got some lap traffic here. That's Eric McClure. He's the last car on the lead lap in 21st position. He ducks down low, gives space, and here and Carl wiggles. Boy, did he get loose there.
The other thing that Ernie Cope and Elliott Sadler here in the 2 car are going to have to decide, they are racing for a championship. Yeah, they want to win, but they also know that their 2 closest competitors aren't having the best of nights. They don't want to give all of these points back. Right now, the way it sits, they would be 14 or 15 points ahead.
Carl be going for the win.
Carl is not letting up. Carl doesn't have to worry about points. He knows that. I mean, he's going for the trophy. We are down to 29 laps to go. Fuel is an issue for everyone on the racetrack. And these 2 are going after each other lap after lap. Allgaier's 2.7 seconds back. Harvick's in 4th, 3 seconds back. Side by side again into the corner.
My car really made a run into the corner that time, trying to get the lead. Just not able to get it.
Tucks back in behind him, and then takes another look to the inside, and he dives for the bottom of the track.
This is a great battle.
This is amazing. They keep going after it. And again, it's Sadler leading at the stripe. Coming up on some slower traffic, that's Morgan Shepherd. He's in 23rd, and he's already 1 lap down. This would put him 2 down.
Now, these 2 have about a 2.5-second lead over 3rd place, Justin Allgaier.
Here we go. Could be a pick, and that was close. Morgan is saying, where did these guys come from?
And Elliott's still on the outside of it.
And he'll probably lead at the line once again.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is some racing, folks. Morgan had the best seat in the house. Some more lap traffic coming up in front of him.
It's like right there, Edwards got clear.
That's Timmy Hill in the 15. Hill is the last car on the lead lap right now, driving a good steady race. The rookie in 19th position, just going 1 lap down. Got 26 laps to go here at Chicagoland. We'll step aside just for a moment with Carl Edwards and Elliott Sadler going after each other.
This summer, you can win a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon vehicle or $100,000 instantly. There's a second chance drawing too. Look for the Jeep Instant Ticket at a South Carolina lottery retailer near you. Top prize odds, 1 in 520,000.
Time Warner Cable TV customers, upgrade to the Triple Play and save. Digital TV, Roadrunner broadband, and next generation home phone. Each just $33 a month for 1 year with free installation. So you can lower your monthly cost and get everything you need to keep connected. Get access to amazing no-fee HD, blazing internet speeds, and unlimited nationwide calling. Upgrade to the Time Warner Cable Triple Play and save. Call 855-894-2541.
Follow the fun with new instant ticket games from the South Carolina Education Lottery. Now available at your local lottery retailer.
20 laps to go this time by, and Carl Edwards is out in front of Elliott Sadler. We've had a record 20 lead changes. Look at the last 5 race winners, 3 in a row, and Rouse is trying to make it 4 straight, which would tie a team best mark. And right now, it looks like Carl Edwards, who has led 125 laps, is starting to open up a little bit of ground on Elliott Sadler. The man to watch, though, could be Justin Allgaier. He's 1.4 seconds back. There he is in the 31, and he is in the top 3 fastest cars every lap, DJ.
Yeah, he's been about 2/10 quicker, and just behind him, you see the yellow car coming. Brian Scott, another great run, as we said, up into that 4th spot.
During the break, we'll tell you that Ricky Stenhouse's dream has sort of deflated. He had to come in. Remember, he stayed out, got the wave around. He needed a caution. It did not happen. He is now back 1 lap down in 19th position. So it is up to Edwards right now. And we'll get speeds at the line to give you an idea of who has got the horsepower right now.
Yeah, talked about Allgaier being 2.5 seconds behind a few laps ago. He's got it down now to just under 2 seconds.
And there we were bragging on him, and he's not in the top 3.
That was his worst lap he's run in the last 5 or 6.
You know, I think, Andy, you mentioned Carl Edwards maybe saving some fuel, and I think they told him, look, he's coming in a little bit. You might want to step it up, and he's picked the pace back up.
There is Elliott Sadler. What are you hearing as far as fuel mileage on the 2 car, Mike Massaro?
Marty, as I mentioned earlier, Ernie Cope asked him to save a lap or 2 of fuel. Well, he's done his job. He radioed into his crew chief moments ago to find out where they stand now.
All right, Ernie, you got to talk to me here. If we go green the rest of the way, can we make it, not make it? What do I need to start doing? Eddie says we are right on the money. We're plus or minus a lap there, Elliott. It could be run out at 199 or...
One thing that just hurt Elliott Sadler, though, a couple of laps ago, he said when Carl Edwards pinched him down on the racetrack, he said that really killed him. He really wanted to run that high line.
All right, Mike, let's check in over at the Craftsman Tech Garage. Let's talk fuel mileage, Tim Brewer.
Tell you what, Marty, most of the cars out here, they're going to be marginal. But with the way the fuel cell sets in here at 18 degrees, what we try to do before the race, all the fuel is naturally down in this corner. Centrifugal force throws it over here. This is the fuel pickup. What a lot of the guys do, we put a baffle in here. And you see the guys sling the fuel around and get it over in this area. It's a lot easier to keep this pickup submerged over in this area than get this fuel up over here. And that's one of the tricks that might get you to the finish line and save this day to win a race.
Going to be several cars breathing fumes by the end of this one as this is winding down. We've got 15 laps to go, and look at Allgaier closing on the 2 of Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, we picked the wrong lap to show the speed in line as we were building him up. But the last 2 laps, he has been the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, down to 1.3 seconds now behind the leader.
He is running a 32.1. The race leader is 32.5. Here we go. Let's try it again. Hey, made us look good that time.
He did it that time. It's down to 1.1 behind Carl Edwards, and you can see that he's closed right up behind Elliott Sadler.
We have a total of 13 cars on the lead lap.
There's Jimmy Elledge. I talked to some of those guys earlier yesterday. They said that they get about 5 miles per gallon on all of these Turner cars, and that should put them right at the edge of making it here.
And that's probably allowed him to run harder than these first 2 cars of Elliott Sadler and Carl Edwards and make up all of this ground.
You saw Stephen Wallace. He has just gone a lap down in 14th position. The next car to go a lap down will be Danica Patrick in 13th. She is 26 seconds behind the race lead. And remember, they're lapping at about 32 seconds a lap. Look at Eric Almirola going around Kevin Harvick. Almirola has moved into 6th. What are you hearing, Doc?
Well, now Kevin Harvick has run 71 laps on the same set of tires, but he may be having an issue. Listen.
Got a wheel coming loose. Loose wheel. What you got? Got a wheel coming loose is what I got.
So they will call him in, and he will come down pit road and make a stop under green. They were saving 1 set of tires for a final yellow flag. They have not gotten the yellow, and he has to pit because of a loose wheel. Kevin hoping the strategy was working his way, but has not done tonight. On pit road, left side tires going on. Final set under green, and his shot at winning is gone.
So if KHI is going to win this race, it's in the lap of Elliott Sadler. He is about a half a second behind Carl Edwards, and the laps are winding down. And he's got a bigger issue right now, right behind him. Here comes Justin Allgaier. That's Jeremy Clements that they're going around. Let's get an update on the 31. How about it, Vince?
Allgaier is lurking. He's challenging Elliott Sadler, looking to come up on Sadler's high side now, back up to the bumper. Of course, running in 3rd place. They just told Allgaier on the radio as he looks outside for second that they believe the 2 and the 60 are going to come up short. So the big question is, as Allgaier goes around on the high side, can he make it to the finish line? Well, when they went back green, the computer said they would be 1 lap short. You can see he hasn't let up a bit. Justin Allgaier has moved in to 2nd place.
10 laps to go. It's now Edwards, Allgaier, Sadler, then 3 more seconds back. to Brian Scott, who's got a great run going in 4th, and Trevor Bayne in 5th. What a comeback for Bayne this has been. There you see Brian Scott in the 11. Just a little bit further back is Trevor Bayne. Doc, give us an update on Brian.
Both those guys having great runs. Would be a season best for Brian Scott there in the 11 car. But the bad news, he was told at the beginning of this run, you're probably going to be 2 laps shy on fuel. Save all you can shave. There's Kevin Kidd, the crew chief, saying, you know what? We're going to roll the dice. Save fuel. We might be able to make it. And the 16 car behind him, Trevor Bayne, he was also told that they were going to be 2 laps shy on fuel, and Trevor obviously doing everything he can to save fuel and save positions. Right now, both those cars in the top 5.
Yeah, and for Brian Scott, remember 3 races prior to Charlotte, his best finish was 27th. And now he comes off that 8th place run in Charlotte.
I think the 2's out of fuel.
Danielle, Elliott Sadler is pulled down onto pit road. Mike?
He's not out of fuel. He's got a right front tire going down, and that's why he's coming down pit road. They still thought they were good to the finish, but obviously a bigger problem now developing on the 2.
So another heartbreak for Kevin Harvick and his team because
right front.
Elliott Sadler's chances of winning this race have just gone sliding to a stop.
Boy, that is just a heartbreaker. Had a great car tonight.
They are putting a lot of laps. These guys didn't take tires that last time, so they're getting a lot more laps on the tires than what they've seen all night.
And based on that move alone, we could see another change in the points lead. Let's focus on the race finish right now because Carl Edwards has got a 1-second lead over Justin Allgaier. Scott and Bayne are now 3rd and 4th, and they are closing. But the time may not be on their side to get up to that 31. The question is, who can go the distance? Carl Edwards has 5 more laps to go this time by.
Justin Allgaier was about a 1/2 tenth quicker that time. Carl Edwards has stepped it back up. He seems to be able to do that when he wants to, but how much fuel is he using?
Well, that's the thing. I believe that he's had so much of a lead, has been able to save a lot of fuel during this run, and nobody been able to put enough pressure on. Right now, he does see that red car in his mirror, and he has to run harder, and that's the only hope that Allgaier has is maybe he can run him out of fuel.
Let's see who's fastest this time at the line. 4 laps remaining. Justin Allgaier quicker than Edwards. You can see how far back it is to 3rd place. It's a full 6 seconds now. This is a 2-car race unless both of them run out of fuel. Edwards trying to tie Roush Fenway team history with a 4th straight win.
Such a tough position as the leader of the race because you want to save fuel. You know you're close on that, but you also see this car coming, try to take the lead from you.
We started at the beginning of the broadcast talking about Justin Allgaier being one of those guys that needed a big run. He came into this race 22 points behind the lead. And here he is running in 2nd place. Next time by, there will be 2 laps remaining. And here he comes. He's closing again. I don't know if there's going to be enough laps, though, DJ.
Yeah, he was 1,500s quicker that last time. You can see he continues to close, but just 2 to go.
A total on this 1.5-mile track. 3 miles of racing to go, with Edwards now down to a 4/10 of a second lead.
Allgaier did take tires on that last caution flag stop they made, and that's one of the reasons he's faster now.
Brian Scott's good run could be in trouble here. He pulls down on the apron. He's shaking the car. He's out of fuel.
They said he was about 2 laps short.
Trevor Bayne moves up to 3rd.
4 back. If you run your line, I don't think he's got nothing for you here. 3.5 back. He slows there.
You heard it all. 1 lap to go, and Allgaier's giving it everything he's got. He's closing, coming out of 2. Can he get him going down the backstretch? Is there enough time?
Oh, yeah, Carl Edwards out of
Carl's
fuel.
out of fuel. Edwards is out of fuel. Justin Allgaier. We could have our 2nd Nationwide Series regular winning this year. Carl down on the apron.
Looks like Allgaier's
out of fuel. Who's going to coast to the finish line? 3rd place is Trevor Bayne. Here they come. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Could Trevor Bayne do it? Can he get his first win? I thought for a second that Bain might be able to close the gap, but maybe he too was running out of fuel.
So a great third-place finish for Trevor Bain.
It is. What a run for him.
Unbelievable, Jimmy. Awesome job. Unbelievable job.
I think this is Jimmy Elledge's first Nationwide Series win as a crew chief.
It's Justin's second win in his 88th start. Remember, his last was back at Bristol, March last year. And we mentioned that second Nationwide Series regular to win this year. Vince, you got a happy group down there.
With Jimmy Elledge, the crew chief for Justin Allgaier, how big of a gamble was it? Did you think really you were going to make it to the end, Jimmy?
Yeah, I thought we were, honestly. You know, our Hendrick motors get great fuel mileage, and man, I don't know. I figure one of these things is going to work out our way. But I mean, that's awesome. Brandt's headquarters is nearby here. We got 200 Brandt employees here. That's great.
I know you were chasing the car all day because it was so loose and you were looking for grip. Where did it finally turn for you to give you the car you needed to win?
Well, the last pit stop, I knew we needed to do something to get the car tightened up. You know, we were just, once it got nighttime, we got too loose. And, you know, we made the decision to put 4 tires on it so we could get it full of fuel and make a big swing at it, tighten it up. And the car really took off after that, so it's all good. Really happy.
All smiles down here in this pit, Marty.
Trevor Bain is, or I should say Justin Allgaier is making his way down towards victory lane. I don't know how much fuel he's got left. A couple of cars have just coasted onto pit road. We'll be back to talk to the winner. What a night we've had in Chicago.
All kind of storylines to tackle as this one has wound up tonight here in Chicagoland. An Illinois native winning in Illinois, where his sponsors are also based, and winning in dramatic late fashion. Justin Allgaier has to walk to victory lane because his car has no more fuel in it. They went green racing with 57 laps to go. Allgaier tracked down first Elliott Sadler, then Carl Edwards. They came off turn 2 on the last lap, and it all turned around.
And Carl's probably saying, I can't believe this. And Allgaier's, oh my gosh. And this was an unbelievable fuel mileage race. These guys were trying to save a little gas. They couldn't do it. Take a look at this. They're both out of gas now coming off at turn 4.
Yeah, and I'm looking up, and I thought that was Trevor Bain coming off the corner right there. I got all excited because I thought he was going to blow by and win the race. Justin Allgaier hangs on and gets his second victory.
Well, for Trevor Bain, 31st to 3rd tonight in his return, Doc.
And Trevor, what an effort tonight. How much gas did you have left, and did you save too much?
I think I got a lot left is what I keep telling my crew chief. I'm like, man, you should have let me go like 3 laps earlier, and I could have called him and won this thing. But, you know, we knew we had to save because the whole time he was saying, you're 2 laps short, just save. So I told him, all right, we can run 80s. Let's run, you know, 50s and slow down 7/10 and just save that much. And it was just like a few yards too much saving. So I'm really happy with the 16 team coming back out here and finishing 3rd our first week back. We got Avnet and BMA on the car, so we had a cool paint scheme, but man, it would have been cool to win this thing. You know, I'm really proud of my fuel man. Obviously he did a really good job of getting all the gas in the car because we made it further than most of the guys around us. And you know, I hate it for Carl and his team too, but you know, it's cool to see another nationwide regular win. So we'll take this 3rd place and keep going, and I feel good, so that's the good thing about it.
That is great. Trevor Bain is back. Vince.
Justin Allgaier wins this race tonight, and I know it's a hometown track for you. You're just a couple of miles away is home, but tell me what you felt as you were coming down that stretch and you knew that Carl was running out of fuel.
I'll tell you what, I can't say enough for all these guys on this race team. Jimmy Elledge has made great pit calls all year, and I wasn't sure if we were going to make it or not, and I saw Carl run out, and I ducked to the left, and as soon as I ducked to the left, we ran out. And it was a great race, so I had a blast, especially thanks to Nationwide Insurance for all they do for this sport. But to get a win in Chicago, which is my home racetrack, we led so many laps last year at Gateway and weren't able to get that win. To have Rick Brandt and everybody at Brandt Professional Agriculture here, to have STP on the car and the STP 300, I don't think it gets much better than this. I just can't thank all the guys at Turner Motorsports enough. Steve and Sandra Turner, it's been a dream come true for me, and Hendrick Power. We had great power, but we had good fuel mileage too. So, man,
What kind of anxiety were you feeling when you ran out of fuel and you know you had to coast across the finish line?
Well, I knew if we ran out of fuel, there was probably a lot of guys behind me running out too. I just didn't know, you know, it's hard to tell who's coming and who's not. And I saw a white car coming, and it was a lap car, and I thought that we were going to get beat right there at the end, but. You know, God was with us today. I can't say enough. I can't say enough about how blessed we are to be in this situation. And if we were going to get a win somewhere this year, this would have been the place that I would have said that I had circled and wanted to get a win at. So it's a pretty awesome day.
He got it indeed, and he's going to walk to victory lane, Alan.
A bizarre twist of plot late in this one here at Chicagoland Speedway, and Justin Allgaier is celebrating the win tonight, his first of this season, his second career Nationwide Series win. Upcoming races for the NASCAR Nationwide Series include up to Michigan after a weekend off next weekend, the road course at Road America, Daytona, and more. Join us at those upcoming races as we've had some terrific NASCAR Nationwide Series action thus far in 2011. Coming up on SportsCenter, a report from Marty Smith on the Kyle Busch-Richard Childress confrontation out in Kansas earlier today. That is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Time for SportsCenter right now.